Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and welcome back to another review, and this is a Poltergeist 2, The Other Side, from 1986, and I think the director's name is Brian Gibson, which, for what I understand, he only went on to do a few films like What's Love Got to Do With It, and The Juror with Al Baldwin, and I'm not sure why they got this guy to direct it. I mean, he did a serviceable job, but I'm like, what made them choose this guy to do Poltergeist 2? But Poltergeist 2, not as good as the original. Doesn't have that magic that the original had. And, as a lot of people would say, was it unneeded? Yeah. But I like it. I like Poltergeist 2. I didn't watch Poltergeist 2. Definitely can watch it more than the remake, and I like it more than Poltergeist 3. Poltergeist 2, I like that the family returns. I mean, of course, Dominic Dunn was killed by her boyfriend, so the older teenage daughter couldn't come back. But you have Tracy Nelson coming back, and Joe Beth Williams, and Heather Ward, and the boy. They all come back. Zelda Rubinstein comes back as Tangina. You have a nice new additions in this film as well. You have Will Sampson as Taylor, who I remember in films like Firewalker and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He does a great job as Taylor, very likable guy. He's a Native American medicine man who helps the Freeling family, and he's a very likable guy. I think he's passed away, unfortunately, but I liked him. I thought he did a good job. He was a good addition to this film. And another good addition is Reverend Kane. What was the guy's name? Julian Beck, who I guess from what I understand when he was making this film, as you're watching him, he was dying. I forget if it was stomach cancer or there's some type of cancer. And yeah, he died pretty soon after the film. And yeah, he was haunting because he was dying, but he did a great job. God is in his holy temple. Very memorable character. And that's the thing with Poltergeist 2. You say all you want, but it has some good new additions like Taylor, Will Sampson, and Reverend Kane by Julian Beck. And Jerry Goldsmith comes back to do some music. I still prefer the music in the first film, but I thought he did a good job, especially when he was putting the music to what the Reverend Kane was singing. You know, na, 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 na. I thought the Jerry Goldsmith did a great job with the score in this. I think he was unhappy. I don't know what happened. But I'm a big fan of Jerry Goldsmith. I thought he did a good job with the score in this as well. And the Freeling family, they're living with grandma, and I don't know the actress who plays the grandma, but she was a very sweet lady, talking very sweetly with Carol Ann, and I thought the actress did a good job. She was likable. You wanted her as your grandma. Like, she was that sweet of a lady. And the family is not doing well. They have to live at grandma's place. They're almost broke because of what happened in the first film, and no one would believe what happened to their house. And they also won't buy a TV, and they keep seeing this not they, but mainly Heather Ward keeps seeing this creepy old man who's a ghost. Just keeps following them, and follows Carol Ann, and is singing that creepy song, the Holy Temple. He looked like death because he was dying. Granted, it sucks. I mean, you prefer him not dying. It still makes an impact, memorable. And I thought Jerry Goldsmith, the music worked well with that, as well as the sweet music as well. For example, Heather Ward gets on her toy phone and she's talking. You realize she's talking to grandma. And some really nice, sweet music by Jerry Goldsmith, and you find out that the grandma has passed away. I thought the rest of the cast, Tracy Nelson and Joe Beth Williams, did a good job. They still have good chemistry together like they did in the first film. And there's sort of a trade-off JoBeth Williams, her character doesn't get to do much, and she doesn't seem as strong as she was in the first film, which I think was a mistake. She's doesn't seem like she gets to do much, and again, she's not. She doesn't seem as, can't find a better word. She doesn't seem as strong as she was in the first movie. Now the flip side is I like Creed T. Nelson, and it's nice that he got to have more to do in this film than the first film. Because the first film, I like Creed T. Nelson, but he didn't really have much to do except maybe holding that rope at the end. He didn't have much to do. Here he has much more to do. You have his relationship with Taylor, which I like their back and forth. And he doesn't really trust Taylor, but he starts to like him and trust him. And Taylor's saying that you're on the path of a warrior. And the scene where he gets possessed, which is my favorite scene in the movie, and Craig T. Nelson gets to be the one that strikes down the monster. Like Craig T. Nelson, it's nice that his character got to do more in this film. So that's where I kind of think of as the trade-off, where JoBeth Williams got to do more in the first film. Perfectly, why don't you just have both of them do more and be strong characters? But it's almost like a trade-off where Craig T. Nelson didn't have much to do in the first one, but JoBeth Williams did. Here, JoBeth Williams doesn't have much to do, but Craig T. Nelson does. So that's how I look at it. It's like almost as if the first film is more JoBeth Williams' film, and this one is more Craig T. Nelson's film. And watching back to back, I could be fine with that. I was fine with that. And maybe one of the things that people don't, I don't know why it gets such a bad rap. I didn't understand why it doesn't have that magic, and maybe because they kind of try to explain more stuff, which I don't think you needed more of a mythology in a Poltergeist film where, oh, well, the people, it wasn't just that they didn't move the bodies, no one moved the headstones. It was actually this cult, the Reverend Cain, and the cult committed suicide because they're following Cain, and then they want the little girl for the saying, yeah, we want the angel. And that, well, not only is the little girl has a little bit of a clairvoyance, I don't know if clairvoyance is the right word, but a little bit of a gift, but now also the grandma had it, and now JoBeth Williams has it, and you're like, really? You have to put more in the myth. I don't think the film needed more of this mythology. Uh, I would have been fine if just Julian backed in a couple spears who didn't, most of them disappear in the first, which I guess it did. Well, I'm trying to think. It seemed like a lot of ghosts in the first movie when you saw that scene where they were going up the staircase. And was all of them part of the cult, or was there only a little section part of the cult? Again, I don't know if you needed that, but at the same time, I like the Reverend King character. But maybe that's why you're trying to push this mythology into a film that really didn't need any. I mean, no one gave a fuck, in a way. Except the Reverend King part. He was uh, a character that was creepy. But I guess it's like, well, how do you do a sequel? That's why people go, you don't need a sequel. But, I picked it apart, but, I could deal with it. Because I like the family. I like seeing the family back. I like the music by Jared Goldsmith. I like some of the effect scenes, which I'll get to. And pretty much weird stuff starts happening. I like these little scenes where JoBeth Williams has a dream that these ghouls drag her down to the ground. She wakes up, and then these little toys and robots, and even the robots saying, "We want the angel," and spirits come out of the phone, and this great choral music for Jerry Goldsmith plays, and everything's shaking. And Carol Ann goes, "They're back," and they get out there and they meet Will Sampson. And I like Craig T. Nelson, where he goes, "Who are you?" And he goes, "Taylor." And Craig T. Nelson goes, "Great, good name. Come on." Or he's like, "How do we know he's not an escapee from a tribal asylum?" And I like Craig T. Nelson. It's great to see him in this film. He's one of the highlights for me in the film. As is Taylor, Will Sampson talking to JoBeth saying, children have strength and courage. Don't treat them less because they're young. And then like fun bits of humor where Taylor was saying, "Oh, your car is very angry." Let me go fix it. And later on, Taylor, that car is worse off than it was before. Still angry? Angry? That car is pissed. I, so the stuff with Craig T. Nelson and Taylor, I really enjoy. That was a good thing. And about we must prepare for battle, and he's out. Taylor's outside. Craig T. Nelson's like, "What are you doing? Seeking power." And Craig T. Nelson goes, "Me too," and starts drinking. And you did a pretty decent effect shot where the boys' braces start fucking up, and the parents help him out. And even Craig T. Nelson is yelling, "Why don't you leave us alone?" And as he sits down, he gets thrown through the air. And Taylor's saying, "Oh, this will continue to pull his family apart." Now, before going on, one of the drawbacks of the film, it doesn't seem like much happens. I mean, the stuff I mentioned, what was it? The little toys, robots saying, "We want the angel." Some meetings with the preacher, or the reverend coming up, trying to get into Craig T. Nelson's head and going, "You are going to die." And then the little braces thing. That's pretty much all that's happened so far. So I'm getting to the family and the music and the Reverend Kane and Taylor. But actual physical stuff is not much happening. So it could get a little bit laggy throughout it. While the first film, it's not like more stuff happened, but it seemed like it was paced a bit better. I think maybe that's because Toby Hooper / Steven Spielberg, you know, they're more established both are more established directors than the guy who did this. But still, I don't mind the film. Where he's teaching, where Craig T. Nelson's with Taylor, and Taylor's teaching him some stuff, and Tangina, she's kind of shoehorned in here. In a way, she's just there because, hey, we need Tangina back. Because she appears at the very beginning, who knows Taylor, then Taylor's there because later on in the film, because Tangina sent me, and then she comes in to talk with JoBeth Williams, and now JoBeth has a gift. I'm like, did you really need to have I just need to give JoBeth Williams something to do. That's what I mean. She doesn't seem like she has much to do, JoBeth Williams, which is a drawback. But there are some really good scenes. For example, my favorite scene in the movie is a sequence where Craig T. Nelson has a tequila bottle, and there's actually a little worm in it, and you get an up close of the worm, and it's a really good effect. Like the eye moves, and it's a really good effect. And then he drinks it, swallows it, and then, oh my god, he gets possessed. And then Craig T. Nelson plays that Reverend Kane. He's like, his holy temple. His hair's messed up, and Craig T. Nelson did a fantastic job in this scene. He's just trying to mimic the walk and the mannerisms of Reverend Kane, and he did a great job. And it was creepy and scaring JoBeth Williams, and I really enjoyed that. I didn't give Craig T. Nelson more to do than he did in the first film, and I thought he did a great job in that sequence. And I like Craig T. Nelson as an actor. He was the villain in Action Jackson. He was on the TV show Coach, and he's been in a few other films. But I've always liked Craig T. Nelson. This is my favorite role he's played, is in these two Poltergeist movies. And then she says, "Oh, I love you," and I like that Craig T. Nelson, he's fighting it off, and he's puking it. There's one little shot that's bad, because they speed up the film. Like the beginning of him puking up, they speed up the film, which it's like, makes him look like a fucking Benny Hill. Which I don't like that. And it's when it's first coming out of his mouth, it just looks like a Benny Hill fucking thing. Keystone Cops. But after it looks good. It's coming out, and it spits out. And I love the look of the creature, especially when it comes and it around and when it comes. That's a bad way of saying it. It's a different movie. Penis Geist. When it comes, when it turns, I should say, when it stays and it turns its head, and I think the face is supposed to look like Reverend Kane, because you hear some of his music, and I like the look of the creatures. I want to say H.R. Dieter or someone else did that design. I could be wrong. But I almost wanted to see more of that creature. And it didn't have legs, but you saw its bones of his chest and ribs, and love the look. Great practical effects in that scene. So that whole scene is my favorite part of the movie. I thought it was a great sequence. And then it goes away, and it gets bigger, and it smashes Tracy Nelson through a door, and then picks him up. And then this smoke that Taylor gave him. Maybe that's one of the things people don't like, because it gets a bit corny with the Native American, the magic smoke, and while I puff the magic dragon, and the smoke comes out, and but it's like you either go with it or you don't, and it is a bit corny. So people would say cheesy, which I hate that word, but if they use it in that instance, I could understand, but I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe the kind of effects that are used, I'm sort of partial to, because they don't use that anymore. I think I'm being lenient on it. I could deal with it, but I can understand why others wouldn't be able to. But they're trying this deep, and there's these electrical wires, and a chainsaw tries to go through the door, or the car and the hood, and they go back to the remains of the house in the first movie, and they go down. I like the way the cave underneath looks with all these goopy corpses. And then the mom and Caroline get taken, and they find Taylor there. And yeah, this ending where Crazy Nelson and the boy go through to the other side, and it's not like it's realistic effects, because they're sort of floating in this void. And on one hand, I'm kind of partial to those kind of effects because you never see them anymore, but at the same time, it does look a bit corny. It does. I'd be lying if I said it looked perfect. For some reason, it makes me think of something out of Supergirl or something. Like any minute, I'm going to hear dun 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 dun. But I guess yeah, I was with the movie through. I mean, yeah, it's not like Poltergeist 3 ending. Believe me, it's not like the ending of Poltergeist 3. I think that's why I could deal with this ending, because you want to see a shitty ending, watch Poltergeist 3. Sort of anticlimactic ending, watch Poltergeist 3. Here, I think people are like, it really has been built up to this. This is the other side. To be honest, I think the other side should have been like the original house, but we know that the original house is gone. But wait, we're back here? How can we back here in the original house? It's gone. I mean, the original house imploded, so it went somewhere. So maybe just have them battling Kane in where the hell the house went at the end of the first movie, because it imploded. It went. It looks like it was sucked into the other side, so let the other side be the house in the original. So they're just on sets, and then you can have them with the lance and stab into the creature. I think that would have been better than just them in this sort of void and swirling colors and stuff. But um, I like the effect of the beast grabs Carol Ann, and then she turns from young to old. And then I like the fact that Crazy Nelson is the one who strikes the creature down, and you think Carol Ann's lost, but then the spirit of the grandma. Yeah, it could be a bit sappy or corny, but I could deal with it. I think as I like the family. I like the actors. Yeah, it's corny, but I'll take that over the shit in part 3 or the lazy fuckness of the remake. And I like the bit afterward where, Craig D. Nelson strikes the beast down, they're back, and then I like Taylor, some battle, huh? And they, have hands, and again, I like the relationship between Craig T. Nelson and Taylor, where he goes, your car's still angry. Oh yeah, I think he wants to come home with me. Here you go, it's yours, take it. Bye, Taylor. And then they don't, because, the guy helps save his family, and they become friends. And then even someone goes, well, wait a minute, don't we need a ride home? Like, oh shit. They don't say that, but oh shit, oh wait, Taylor, wait. I liked it, I had fun with it. I mean, it's better than the ending of the remake, where it's just fucking, oh, let's, this realtor, which I guess because she didn't say that they were buying a house that was on a cemetery, we'll see the house and then we'll just drive away. Like this, I bought more. I mean, I like this more than that. And yeah, that music from the first movie, that lullaby, that da 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 da. So overall, I like the film. I mean, problems, yeah, the ending, the effects, the being the void of the other side. Again, I think it would have just been better if it was just the house that imploded in the first movie. Where did the house go? Maybe they're just in the house, and instead of just them floating like it's Supergirl or Superman, the movie. And it kind of seems like not much stuff happens. So it's kind of a little bit of some slow parts, and JoBeth Williams doesn't seem like she has much to do in the film. Tangina kind of seems like she's kind of just shoehorned in there. But there's a lot more that I like about the film. I like seeing the family back. I thought they still had good chemistry with each other. I like Craig T. Nelson, JoBeth Williams. I like Taylor. I like that character by Will Sampson. I thought he did a really good job, as did Julian Beck as Kane. I thought two really good additions. Some effects, like the smoke stuff, was a bit corny. But at the same time, I was kind of partial for the old school effects of that. But again, that creature, really good effect of that creature. It needed more of that kind of stuff, like that creature. It needed more of that, I think. But director was serviceable, but it seemed like they could have gotten anybody. I mean, this guy didn't really bring anything new to the table, but Jerry Goldsmith did a really good job with the score. So it's a flawed film, not as good as the original, but still a satisfying, worthy sequel. I mean, I still like the film. If I watched Poltergeist, I could watch this film and it wouldn't make me mad at all. Some flaws, but yeah, nice to see Craig T. Nelson have more to do. And still nice to see this family again. Heather Ward did a good job again. Jerry Goldsmith's music. He didn't just recycle the first score. He added different stuff, which I liked. And some new characters, which I thought were good. Reverend Kane was a worthy villain. Good presence. And Taylor, I like his relationship with Craig T. Nelson. I've said it like 5 times now, but I really liked it. It was one of my favorite parts of the film. And a great scene where Craig T. Nelson's possessed. And so overall, I like the film. I do like the movie, Poltergeist II, The Other Side. A little bit underrated because it kind of gets gets the shits, it gets shit on a lot. But I don't think it's that bad of a movie. But that's just my opinion. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.